Good evening all, welcome to Board of Education meeting, Johnsburg District 12.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Jerry Harker. D12. Here. Kathy Nice. Here. Megan Michael. Here. Tom Epley.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, board members, any topics for consideration to add to the agenda tonight?
Make a motion to approve agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Now we move on to the election of a permanent officer, the Board of Ed Secretary. Would a member of the board like to nominate a member as the board secretary?
I would like to nominate Megan as board secretary.
Any others? Contested. Being the only member nominated, it has been declared by acclamation that Megan Michael is elected as board secretary of Johnsburg School District 12 Board of Education. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. That was a hard-fought campaign. Well done, for the board, well done. So we have the Board of Reorganization tasks. JEPF membership, which board member would like to represent? Megan, you do that?
do that.
You do it all.
It's already there.
Yeah.
Most valuable board member tonight. Are we okay with that? All right, all in favor?
Fantastic.
Aye. Thank you, Megan. Then we go to consent approval for the minutes of the December 14th, 2021 Board of Ed meeting, the December 14th, 2021 Board of Ed closed session meeting, the January 11th, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting.
We approve those minutes.
Second.
D12.
Yes.
Megan Michael.
Abstain.
Kathy Nice. Yes. Jim Barrett.
Yes.
Tom Epley.
Yes. All right, we go to commendation. National Board Certified Teacher Qualifications, Sarah Hessman. Bridget.
I'm going to talk really nice and loudly because Sarah Hessman is actually, in true Sarah Hessman fashion, teaching a college class at MCC right now, and her students are streaming this live right now. So wait to know. So I have to say, I am so incredibly proud of Sarah for taking the initiative to become nationally board certified. It is a very rigorous process that lasts 2 years, and Sarah passed with flying colors. I talked with her throughout the process, and I just, I think we all know that Sarah's a wonderful teacher, but this just proves it. So congratulations to Sarah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sarah.
I saw Sarah earlier this evening, and she wanted to extend her thanks to all of you for the commendation.
Thank you.
Next, we have agenda time for citizens to speak. Meeting members are welcome to address the board in person. Please follow our board policy when attending, and note that the board will listen to your comments, but does not reply. Any citizens like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Nancy Thompson. Tonight, as I speak in front of you on January 25th, 2022, we are 2 months shy of 2 years of what was supposed to be 2 weeks to flatten the COVID curve. At no time during these last 2 years has the administration or the board signaled any effort to reconsider their position on the illegal mask mandates. The administration and the board refused to meet in person with the district parents to hear our concerns. The administration and the board refused to survey the district parents to get their thoughts on the continued COVID mitigation measures. The administration and the board refused to get a second legal opinion regarding the governor's illegal executive orders. For almost 2 years now, the policies of this district have been led by politicians instead of all of you sitting in front of me. According to the board president, Mr. Effling, the district is confident in the direction they are taking and will continue the course. The district is confident that masking children for 7 hours a day is okay. The District 12 is confident that parents should be able to make decisions they feel are best for their children. District 12 is confident in receiving $1.9 million in COVID relief funds in exchange for masking children. District 12 is confident in treating children like diseased human beings who are a threat to anyone that comes within 6 feet of them. The district has recently improved their state financial rating, something that hasn't been accomplished in years, all while still operating on a surplus budget. Are the ESSER funds worth the harm you are causing the children? Now that you have celebrated your financial wins, it would be a good time to pivot off of finances and turn your focus back to the kids. You've profited enough from masking the children. Instead of wasting time on daily cut and paste emails of COVID positive cases, how about survey the kids and see how they feel about masks? Walk the halls and see the masked, emotionless faces that happen every day. How about take a deep dive into the Illinois report card and the dismal academic progress for the district? There's so much more this administration and board should be doing, yet have settled into a spot of complacency. Just so we're clear, I am not anti-mask. I am pro-choice, I am pro-parents' right, and I am pro-freedom. You have asked more than enough of the children in this district. They deserve their freedom back. COVID's here to stay. We need to learn to live with it like 90% of the other states have been for months now. Your continued lack of leadership will have ramifications for years and years to come. The legacy this administration and board will be known for is money first, kids second. You have abandoned the children over your own fears. 2 years is long enough, and I respectfully request you engage the district community for change. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Anyone else like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Tammy Greco. When I saw Sarah Hessman's name on the agenda, I felt I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to say a few words on how grateful my family is for her. We met Mrs. Hessman 2 years ago when our now 5th grader was in her 3rd grade class. From the moment we stepped into her classroom on supply drop-off day, her passion for education was evident. I recall her organization, her confidence, and most importantly, her desire to provide a positive experience. It is obvious she takes great pride in what she does and focuses on positively impacting lives each day. Her attention to creating successful learning plans for each individual student is commendable. This was also the year the pandemic began. They were in school one day and remote learning the next. Mrs. Hessman did not skip a beat. She somehow maintained her positive, upbeat attitude and made learning fun for our daughter each and every day. Even from home, Mrs. Hessman rewarded achievement using her creativity with things such as our daughter's favorite, pancakes with Piper. There's a song called Spread a Little Happiness by Nathan Angelo. Our family entitled this the Mrs. Hessman theme song. What a gem the school district has found. Mrs. Hessman's passion is reflected in the outcomes she produces. Our daughter's progress as proof of that. The confidence Mrs. Hessman instilled in her still makes a difference for her today. Becoming a national board certified teacher is an incredible achievement and another testament to the commitment of Mrs. Hessman. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I appreciate the dedication of the board and administration, as well as the support you give to great leaders such as Mrs. Hessman. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board?
Good afternoon, my name is Cassandra Miller. I'm a lifelong Johnsburg resident, graduate of Johnsburg High School and grade school and all the schools. And I'm a mom of 4 kids that are Johnsburg students, 3 of which I pulled out of Johnsburg schools this school year. 1 is still here. I'm here to talk about the masks, a number of different reasons why. I've talked to you guys before. I'm not going to bother you with any science. I'm going to talk to you about the social, emotional, psychological, academic well-being of my children. So I mentioned I pulled 3 of my children out of Johnsburg schools this year. Those 3 children all have some special needs. When they were in the Johnsburg schools, I'll speak to two of them in particular. One of them has speech apraxia and a pretty significant speech delay. He has made progress, but he's not where he should be. The other one has autism and ADHD and other health impairments. When you put children with special needs in masks, you cause so many challenges, which I wish I could explain the depth of them, but they're significant and they're ongoing, and it further stunts their growth and development. And I really want you guys to think hard and long about the masks, especially on your special needs kids. I have a junior that's here in Johnsburg High School. You know what, he will tell you whatever. He hates the mask. It bothers him most when he's playing sports, but he'll wear it begrudgingly. He'll wear it and he'll comply. But he's beyond those social, emotional development years are so critical to understanding social cues, speech inflection, and all those other things which you learn when you're a really little kid, right? You learn those when you're little. And my kids have been masked since they were in kindergarten and first grade, the littlest two. And those are the key development ages where they're supposed to be learning those things, as well as my littlest learning how to fix his speech. I also want to address my child with autism and ADHD. He recently had a reevaluation for his IEP. I don't know if you're aware, but when they do the reevaluations, they show the kids videos. In the videos, they ask you to identify social cues and tell you what you're seeing in the videos. Do you know that in those videos for the reevaluation, they're not masked? So when you're reevaluating an IEP child to see if they're still eligible for services, you're asking them to identify social cues on an unmasked person. Now you put this child back in a school environment where they're expected to be able to respond appropriately. This child missed 30 days of school in the first 2 months here in the Johnsburg schools. That is why he was pulled. Due to repeated behavioral infractions, this child has been in behavioral intervention therapy, social cue interventions, etc. since he was 5 years old. He's in 8th grade now. The IEP reevaluation you just finished on him, you asked him to identify social cues on unmasked individuals. And you wonder why he can't function in a classroom with masks on. But every time I brought it to the school's attention, there was nothing done about it, other than more referrals and more suspensions, and exceeding the maximum number of days which are even allowed to suspend a child with an IEP. And no help, no tutoring, nothing. So the masks, while you think they're great, I get they're supposed to help with the health, they're really hurting our children. And my kid with the special needs is no longer in Johnsburg because Johnsburg couldn't help him other than keeping the mask on. I don't know what else to say about it, but you need to reevaluate your IEP reevaluations, because if you're asking them, what is this person doing with the mask on? How do they feel? And the person might be frowning or smiling. Guess what? You can't tell what I'm doing with the mask on. Neither could my child. And neither can my child in a regular classroom setting or in a hallway setting. And so when you have these children still learning social cues, voice inflection, all of those different things, it does make an impact when they can't see your face because it's covered in this. And your IEP reevaluations should reflect that as well. And when they're not accurate. So please reevaluate, look around the United States. Masks have gone away in many states. Our special needs kids in many states don't have to wear them either, even in states that still have them, or they're given alternatives. Also in other countries like the United Kingdom, they've just recently dropped, all of their mandates, including passports. So I think we're behind the times here. In Illinois, there is a lawsuit ongoing with DeVore. I know you guys are aware of that one. And across the United States, masks and mandates have also been ruled unconstitutional. So whatever stance you want to take on it, my stance today is that it's not good for their social and emotional well-being, and it's hindering them academically. And I'd like you to please take the masks off. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else like to address the board? Okay, thank you for speaking with us. We'll go to Annie on the bills.
Included in your board packet is a summary of all the invoices that we paid in our request for payment over the last month, including the payroll liabilities from December as well as the 2014 payroll, accounts payable, our activity accounts, and our interest accounts. items. You'll note that we're still tracking our monthly transportation for contracted transportation through Cane Lakes and Ride on Transit. This was a low month in comparison to ones we had before, and of course that's because December we were only in session for a few weeks. So we're going to continue to keep a good eye on that. We're doing the best we can to hire other staff, but that's just the challenge that we're facing this year. The only other thing I really wanted to highlight on here was the Mid-American Energy bill. You'll note that it was $43,000, and that is from a span of July through November. They held back on that bill. They've done it a couple times now. We've actually had to actually call and request the bill so that we get that paid. So fortunately, that is for a few months, not just for 1 month. Beyond that, that's pretty much all I had to highlight unless you guys have any questions.
Questions for Ann? Yeah. You want to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Megan Michael?
Yes.
Kathy Knight? Yes. Jim Barrett?
Yes.
Al Close?
Yes.
Tom Epley?
Yes. Now we'll go to reports from advisory committees. First, we have the Johnsburg High School Parent Tech Advisory, and Kevin will be telling us about that.
Way down halfway, and stop halfway, because gentleman to my right has been key with our outreach to, with our tech advisory. Want to talk a little bit about Gus and some of the things that he's been able to provide. We just recently were able to get a partnership with the AED Foundation. Secondary program recognition, we're one of 2 high schools in Illinois and one of 14 in the nation to get that. And that's through our heavy diesel program, and basically them taking a look at are we meeting their industry standards, what's our curriculum like, and basically recognizing that we need a high threshold for that. It's a really neat opportunity. Again, Gus has been doing various outreach scenarios and really developed a nice partnership with Westside Tractor and Mr. Beck over there. And they've been huge. They were huge with our John Deere simulator and helping us get that going. But this is really one more scenario for our students when they leave here, when they're looking for a job or they're looking to go on to college or career. That's something that they can present as coming from that particular high school. So I know they're going to be doing an article in their monthly magazine that's going to be coming out. We'll make sure we get everybody that. But again, that's been a huge thing for our kids because it's not only that foundation recognition, but also just the Westside Tractor aspect of consistently coming in with various machines that our kids don't have here to take a look at, to work on things like that. So, again, I want to give Gus the credit on that because he's been the one that has really done a lot of the outreach, if not all the outreach in regards to that, and just found different opportunities for us to take those next steps. So, appreciate that.
Thank you, Gus.
And kind of sticking with the heavy diesel theme, we're constantly looking for dual credit opportunities. And with the way things currently are in Illinois, there's a lot more flexibility to offer dual credit with vocational programs than there is when it comes to offering traditional academic things. For example, if we wanted to offer Spanish dual credit, our Spanish teacher offering that class would have to have a master's in Spanish, not just a master's degree. So that's what we've run into a little bit of a ceiling on that, but when it comes to the vocational, it's more of an agreement between you and the community college as long as the instructor has enough hours. So Tom Harm has reached out to Kishwaukee Community College, which the reason we're not doing this with MCC is because MCC does not have a heavy diesel program. We do have dual credit with their autos, but with heavy diesel, we're currently working on 9 credit hours for 3 classes, trying to get the details taken care of for basic engine overhaul, intro to tools and safety, and intro to diesel being encapsulated in that heavy diesel program by itself, where if we're able to get all the I's dotted and T's crossed, hopefully at the end of this year for next year, our kids will have another dual credit opportunity, which will be pretty deep in Kishwaukee Community College, because they actually do have a heavy diesel program where you can get an associate's degree, and so that's the whole reason why we're waving at MCC as we go back to Kishwaukee. It's not that we don't like MCC, they just don't have that program that we do. So again, just continue thankful. I'm very thankful for the people that set this program up because I walked into the situation. I've been very proud to continue carrying the torch on that, but appreciative of the board for your continued support because we've been through various pendulum swings with curriculum mandates and things of that nature and the continued support of that. has been very helpful when I run into former students of mine who see me in Walmart and say if we weren't still doing heavy diesel, they would find me and maybe people would find me again. So one of the things I consistently hear from students I used to have is that was one of the main programs that kept them in school. So again, continue thinking that. So that's been some of our work this year so far as tech advisory.
Thank you, Kevin. You have the parent advisory too.
So with parent advisory, we talked about what I just mentioned. We also talked about the SAT coming up in April. Our 9th and 10th graders will take a PSAT, practice SAT. I think it's April 13th. Our juniors are required to take the SAT for graduation. We do not require our seniors to come in on that day. We basically have all hands on deck to deliver that. We also talked about the SALT leadership that Mr. Jusky runs on Wednesday mornings. So tomorrow morning, he will be running a student athlete leadership training. Anyone can attend, but it's kind of geared towards kids that are in the extracurriculars. And I'm appreciative of him doing what he does and making that available to students. Again, it says a lot about the kids that show up for that because they're coming in on a late start day where they could either go to Dunkin', McDonald's, or other variety of places or sleep in. And so, kudos to him because he's getting a nice showing for that. We talked about the 5 Essentials survey that's available for students, teachers, and parents. Talked about our ability to still run our extracurricular activities despite some of the challenges. Excuse me. And then finally, we talked a little bit about the teacher shortage that's going on in the nation as well as the county, as well as in our area, and just how we're lucky at Lake County Tech because if we aren't able to hold a class here, and cosmetology is a great example of something that's just always been over at Lake County. We've had multiple students go through that, and actually the person that cuts my hair went through the program here at Johnsburg, and again, we've seen some nice success with that. What questions can I answer for your security advisor?
No question. Thank you. Ms. Tavri is here to talk about PTO.
PTO met virtually earlier this month, went over some of the last activities that they had posted over at Johnsburg Elementary School. But also we're looking forward to playing some upcoming things. Going on now is the Domino's Pizza Card, get yours before the end of the month. So that's a big fundraiser that we're working on right now. With some classics coming back that they're very excited about. One of which would be Father-Daughter Dance. They're going to bring back the theme of it was Hawaii, which was the theme prior to everything that we've been dealing with. So we are looking at getting that up and running. They are potentially looking at doing something off-site, depending on what things look like as we approach the spring. They're very excited about that in March, as well as Readathon coming back. That is something that I know a lot of our buildings took part in last year. Kids had a great time, staff enjoyed it. So we're looking to further that partnership and continue that in March, as well as Mother Son Bowling in April, that will be hosted by Ravens. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. They're always looking for new efforts and ideas. And I believe that's it.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson, you want to talk to us about the JEPF?
Sure. Unfortunately, we did cancel the wine tasting that was scheduled for this Saturday. But we do have some work things in the works in regards to some different summer activity. But we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves before we get those things finalized and planned out. But be on the lookout for some things that are happening over the summer. So be on the lookout for that.
And Tech Campus?
Yeah, we had a meeting on the 13th. As I mentioned, you might remember me talking about this in November. One of the things that the Tech Campus is working on right now is updating their joint agreement with all the member schools, both the Lake County schools as well as their 3 McHenry County schools. So we reviewed that again, and it looks like that will be up for approval at the Tech Campus probably in February. And then according to the joint agreement, it needs to be approved by the member schools in 60 days. And so you'll see it come back here. If they approve it if we approve it at the February meeting, we'll have 60 days to be able to approve for our continued membership and continue work with the Tech Campus. That's it. Some great opportunities over there. We also finalized the school calendar and got a brief update on their strategic long-term plan. So
Cool.
Be on the lookout, hopefully in February, if not, it'll be in March.
Okay, we have some informational items. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Sure.
First, we have some district updates.
Just a couple of updates. At the community of the whole meeting last week, we talked about the TRS supplemental savings plan. I remember there were some questions from the board in regards to that. This is just an FYI that we have been working with some attorneys in regards to getting some corrected language into a new agreement. We think we're going to be able to get that finalized in the next couple of weeks, and then we're just putting that on your radar that that will likely be at the next board meeting in February. But we're in a good position, be in a good position to keep the district protected in regards to the wording of that language. So we don't have any more specifics than that right now. We're working with the attorneys to be able to get that all cleaned up. So just throwing that on your radar. Any questions on that? All right. And then as you heard earlier, that there are two COVID litigation cases that have taken place. And that the board's well aware of what's going on with them. It was stated by the judge that the earliest she would make a ruling would be on Friday, this Friday. And then we'll see what happens there. We'll work with our attorneys and schools and things along that line. Oral arguments that happened last week. And then, like I said, the ruling that will impact those named school districts will be on Friday. Just remember, we're not named in those lawsuits. But there's so many different possibilities, so many different avenues to be able to go down. Be here all night speculating. So, but at the earliest it'll be Friday. That doesn't mean it will be Friday. She just said that it would be the earliest on Friday. Any questions on that? And then the last one you might have saw recently in the news was Governor Pritzker vetoing House Bill 2778, which was the paid leave for school employees legislation that had passed both the House and the Senate. He vetoed that yesterday and announced that he had his office had reached an agreement with organizations in the state. It seems that compromises that those paid leave will be able to be for vaccinated people, but there's a road to get to before that. They've got to go through the House and the Senate legislation to sign before any of that comes into effect. But I know that has been something that the board's been watching, that we've been watching as well as employees have been watching. So that got vetoed, and really the next step is it looks like they're going to have to form some new legislation. So keep you posted on that as well.
Thank you. District donation.
We are looking for the approval of one donation this evening. It's from the Shade Family Foundation, the Cashmore family. They donated $1,000 to the Johnsburg Junior High School Science Department. They just asked that the funds be used to continue to enrich students' lives through science, and there was no other stipulations or requests placed on that donation. So we're just looking for approval of that tonight.
All right, go to action items. We have the financial year 2022-2023 staff recommendations.
At the committee, we reviewed those, so if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. If not, seek that approval tonight, and you'll see some postings go out tomorrow.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Kathy Knight,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Val Close,
Yes.
Megan Michael,
Yes.
and Ethel.
Yes.
Thank you. With the teacher shortage that's out there, we want to try and do it, to get that posted as soon as we can.
Early bird. Request for consent approval of all kinds of board policies. Lots and lots. Oh, we're combining and the district donation that we just heard about.
I move to approve as submitted.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Val Close,
Yes.
Megan Michael,
Yes.
Kathy Knight, and Ethel.
Yes. Other business, the February 8th, 2022 committee of the whole meeting has been canceled. And so the next time we'll be here will be February 22nd. Will be the next Board of Ed meeting, right here in the auditorium. So now we're looking for a motion to go into closed session regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees and collective bargaining.
Second?
Val Close, Megan Michael,
Yes.
Kathy Knight, Jim Barrett,
Yes.
and Ethel.
Yes. Thank you all.
you won't be here a second.